So, a couple hours into the day, Quad News has further set in. He's a Clipper, PG a Clipper, and I'd like to talk about the PG side of things from an OKC perspective, or rather, just kind of focus in on OKC, not really speaking from their perspective, but just looking at what they've done. What the hell? Their fans should be devastated. Westbrook should be devastated. You're bringing in picks, lots of picks. Okay, but you're sending PG to go play with Kawhi Leonard. That team is going to be dominant. They're going to be in the finals or the Western Conference Finals every year. If they get past us, they're in the finals. If they can't get past us, that's pretty much how that should go. Unless a team like Denver or somebody upsets both of us or one of us or something like that. It's going to be the Battle of LA for the next 4 years. Assuming the Lakers are able to re-sign AD, which is a big question mark for me right now. Big. But I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to stay over here with the Thunder. What are you doing? Now, some will say, sorry, I do that. It's something on my phone. Some will say that Paul George is a guy that, you can't rely on. I said it earlier. So giving up on him and his contract may not be the worst thing in the world if you decide you want to blow it up. Did you think that the Oklahoma City Thunder would be able to win a championship as the West is now currently constructed? Maybe not. Maybe not. Can they get some things for Paul George that they like? Obviously beforehand. Yes, this is what you consider, and you can get a nice package for him. So trading him, especially in the event that he comes to them and says he wants out, makes sense. You make a trade, you make it fast. Right? I can even see the fruit in giving him what he wants. I can see that. Maybe you want to set a precedent that you're one of those teams that's not going to resist a player if he wants to leave. You guys are fluent. It's an open and shut door. If you want to be here, we want you. If you don't want to be here, we're happy to give you your freedom. That's a good precedent to set if you're OKC. So I understand even from that angle. Fine, okay. But then when you go back to the drawing board and you try to figure out what you're trading for, or rather what kind of haul you're bringing back from the Clippers, you didn't make them give you Lou Williams. You didn't make them give you Montrezl Harrell. You didn't make them, look, I understand draft picks are valuable. I try to express the importance of draft picks all the time. I know it. It is extremely valuable because what you have is an opportunity to make a choice. Once that pick is drafted, once it's a player, then you have a certain level of attributes that you're limited to. But once before that, you see just a field that you can cater your interest to, maybe reach on a guy that you like or whatever. You have options. It gives you more options. That's why picks are so valuable. So when you have 4 unprotected picks, that means that whether they're really high, lottery picks could be the first pick in the draft, or it could be whatever, you're going to get that pick no matter what. There will be no restrictions on it. Clippers gave up 4 of those and then gave up 1 unprotected pick, and I think they gave up a second or something like that, along with Gallinari and Shea. I like Shea. Shea's going to take a couple years to turn into what he's going to turn into, and when he does, I'm not sure he's going to give you a whole lot of offense. It's more like a defensive type of guy. He's extremely gifted defensively. I don't know what he can do offensively, so I'll leave it at that. Gallinari had a great year last year. He'll help OKC, and he'll also be a tradable piece for them, so they can use him one way or another. But those picks, that's where the meat and potatoes is. Those 4 picks, even though it's 4 of them, and they're unprotected, they're not going to mean anything to the Clippers. They're not going to mean anything to you, because what's going to end up happening is those picks are probably going to be diluted by how good that team is projected to be. And these are young guys. The whole team is young. Everybody on the team is young. Everybody on the team can play defense. Everybody on the team can hit their free throws. They're not going to suck by any stretch of the imagination. They have depth. I mean, my God, man. It's not looking good for that trade if you're OKC. And that's withstanding how the fans feel about letting go of the best player on the team. Sorry, PG was the best player on that team last year. And it was not close. And then, of course, what happens to Russell Westbrook? Well, some say Russell Westbrook is not going to be able to win in the future. I agree with them because I can't think of one single team that he fits on. I don't know how you build around him. You almost have to build around him like Iverson, and that doesn't work. You need offensive talent in this league. You need multiple offensive players, and you need multiple looks from different angles so that you can create enough of a threat and spread the floor. They don't have. Well, let me rephrase the thought. Russell Westbrook is a player that's going to be doing what he does no matter what. Yeah, he makes passes, but those passes are after he creates by holding on to the ball the whole time. Basically, he's controlling the offense and he's taking most of the shots, and he's head first going downhill, and it's always that way. And he shoots a very poor percentage from the 3-point line. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you talk about players who the game has passed by, Russell Westbrook might be the kind of guy where the game has passed him by. People say that about Carmelo Anthony. I've heard people say that about Boogie Cousins. I think more so Russell Westbrook than those guys, because of the fact that he shoots so poorly from the 3-point line, and he shoots so much, and he doesn't seem to have a conscience about the type of selection of shots that he takes. And usually when guys get assists, it's like he's creating them for them. There's not too many passes taking place before the assist pass. It's just him holding the ball and doing whatever he's going to do with it. That just doesn't work in this league at all. And I think that's why people leave him. Not necessarily because of anything that has to do with him off the court or his attitude or anything like that. It's just because his style of play makes it so that he's the only guy shooting the ball. And unlike James Harden, he's not very good at it. When his athleticism isn't really fueling him, I don't know how he's able to turn off his motor enough to where he's not just forcing stuff all of the time. And so, with that being said, I don't know of a good fit for him. Some people say they would love to see him with the Lakers just out of spite. Yeah, that would be a great story, but that doesn't work because of what I just said, and because you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James who aren't going to allow that. He's going to do that stuff a little bit, and then he's going to have to go to the bench. It's not going to be a situation where he's going to be able to create and push and do everything himself and take 36 shots. This is never going to happen with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Not to mention that we couldn't afford him anyway without depleting all of what we just signed. So that's not happening. But I can't think of a place that he does fit in. No team to where you make a trade for him, give up whatever you have to give up, and then bring him back and make yourself better. Where does he go? And the only place I can think of is Washington. And then you ask yourself, why in the heck would OKC bring back John Wall's contract? You don't. The answer is that you do not. And you damn sure don't trade Bradley Beal for him and try to pair John Wall with him. That is one of the worst disasters in the history of the sport waiting to happen. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's no real fit for Westbrook that I can think of off top. You have to just start with a blank canvas with him, maybe the Knicks. Him and RJ, I hate the idea of that because they're both chuckers. That's horrible. And then you got Julius Randle. You would probably have to give up something. I don't know what the Knicks would have to give up anyway other than a bunch of picks. And then you'd go forward with what? Westbrook? What? Westbrook and RJ? I don't know how to build around Russell Westbrook in this era. I just don't know how to. And I think that's going to be the problem going forward for teams who may consider trying to trade for him or whatever. It's almost like a Carmelo Anthony thing. It's almost like that in a way. Because there's really no way to make it work so that everybody is shooting when you got a guy like Westbrook on the floor. You know, he's taking shots, he's coming down, jacking them up, and they're bricking, and it's just, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We know how talented he is. We know how much of a motor he has. And if he were able to turn his motor down a little bit, in certain situations, he might be able to slip into a team and really, really help them. But, boy, I just don't see it. He's been an alpha his whole career. Even KD couldn't curb that to no degree. And it didn't work with Paul George. So if you're OKC, I guess the moral of the story is if you're OKC, you don't do this. You don't trade him to the Clippers. And if he demands a trade, you do make it an AD situation if you have to. Why? Because he's the only guy that fits with Russell Westbrook. And quite honestly, you're moving him in the Western Conference to another team that's going to make it more difficult for you to rebuild. And you're now in limbo with win now and rebuild if you're not able to move Russell Westbrook or if you're unwilling to move Russell Westbrook. So you just potentially created a bigger problem than you had. And you're hoping that these picks pan out, but you know that they won't because everybody on the Clippers is young and everybody on the Clippers is talented, and they have a super team basically. And it's like, what kind of success do you think you're going to have with those picks? They're all going to be 20 something, 21, 22, 23, 24th pick in the draft is what I'm trying to say. So it's like, nah, this was a situation where the OKC Thunder acquiesced to the Los Angeles Clippers in a way that didn't benefit themselves at all. And I understand that they were trying to prevent the Lakers from putting together a big super team, and I think that probably was one of the main selling points. It's like, look, nobody's doing anything if the Lakers put this together. So help us not make this, not happen, and help us do it in time for Kawhi Leonard to make his decision to sign with us. I think that's what Jerry West and the guys were probably trying to sell to the Thunder. Like, you're doing the NBA a service. We're keeping all of that from happening, because if this goes down, LeBron James leaves, AD and Kawhi can just slip somebody else in, and that person is definitely going to want to play with them. It's not going to be hard for them to keep this dynasty going, or whatever it would have been that we could have put together if Kawhi did that, which is something I think Kawhi is going to be thinking about in the future. I think he's going to think about that. I don't know how this Clipper thing is going to go. It looks like a good decision to me, but the possibilities of what he could have did with Anthony Davis, I think that's going to I think in the long run, that's going to be something he thinks about. Because I'm telling you, and I've said this in other videos, Paul George ain't that guy. He's not. He was good enough to get this done. He's a good enough second option. He could be your Pippen. But the question is the Bulls, which is what they seem to be trying to duplicate, enough for the Clippers to win going forward against AD, LeBron, and whatever else the NBA puts together, the Nets, etc.? One would think it could be, but if Paul George turns into the Utah Jazz from a year and a half ago, Paul George just was getting ate up by the Aussie dude, that's not enough for Kawhi Leonard and Lou Williams to win a championship, in my opinion. They get knocked off by us. They need Paul George to beat Paul George in order to beat us. So that's what it's going to be. And in the long term, do you trust Paul George every year? Do you trust Kawhi Leonard to stay healthy? If the Clippers have health issues, who knows? We have the same problem. But if they do have health issues, then there may be some hope for all of us that they fail in all of this. But, at the end of the day, as a Laker fan, I'm rooting for them to fail. I'm sure the rest of the league is happy about this. So I speak for myself on that. But anyway, it is what it is, man. I want the Lakers now to go after Boogie Cousins. If I'm a Clipper fan, I want them to now go after a facilitator. And if I'm an OKC Thunder fan, I want them to now trade Russell Westbrook. Find him a place where we can snatch up a bunch of picks. And then from there, make sure that those picks look better than the damn picks that we got for the PG trade. That would be what I'd want if I'm OKC. You don't need nothing to win now. You want to suck very bad this year, be a bottom 3 team so you can get a chance at the number 1 pick in the draft. That should be the only thing the Oklahoma City Thunder want. You are in a complete rebuild, 130% complete rebuild, and keeping Russell Westbrook on board is counterproductive, because you're going to have to honor his timeline to some degree. He needs to win right now, and you traded away a very, very, very comfortable win now piece for him. Somebody that he was friends with, somebody that he agreed to play with for the next 4 years, who he thought agreed to play 4 years with him, and you're going to have a lot of bad memories, bad everything. I feel bad for Russell Westbrook. He's trying to be loyal to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he keeps getting snaked by people. Let's just keep it a buck. He keeps getting snaked. That's what it was. PG snaked him. It is what it is. And I wish everybody well, man, over there in Oklahoma. I know they're used to a certain level of success. The team's gonna suck again this year, man. It's not gonna be good. That was a bad trade. If those picks, if the Clippers don't fail, which it doesn't look like they will in any way, shape, or form anytime soon, it's a bad trade. It's a bad trade, basically. Those picks aren't gonna do it. So, yeah, that was my perspective from the Thunder, and a little bit of my stuff, a little bit of the Clipper perspective too. And I'm awaiting the trade. We're still waiting for the trade, the AD trade to take place. It has not gone through yet, surprisingly. And it's weird to me that trade hasn't gone through. That is just strange. So we'll see how things unfold. Take care, everybody. BDF.